I wonder how this image makes you feel. When I first looked at this image, I didn't just see it, I felt it in a really profound and visceral way. I experienced the incredible healing power of photography. It changed my life, and it became the catalyst for everything I've done since. Let me tell you a story. I'll take you back to my early 20s. I'm sitting on the edge of a hospital bed. I'm there because I've just tried to take my own life. The room is cold, it's very bright, it's really noisy. People are speaking to me, but I can't hear what they're saying. I'm in a really desperate place. I don't know how to help myself. I don't know what to do to make myself feel better. And I can't soothe my inner child. So I decide to look to the world for my answers. I sought out a therapist who I saw for about 1.5 years. And towards the end of it, I was feeling a bit better, and I stopped seeing him, but a few months later, I was feeling rubbish again, so I sought out another therapist. I saw her for about 1 year, feeling better towards the end, but a few months later, I was feeling useless again. I was really depressed, and I didn't know what to do, but this cycle continued for 25 years. In 2015, I got knocked off my bike. It threw me into a huge depression. I found myself sitting in the accident and emergency room again, on a cold, hard chair. My ribs were cracked, my body was bruised, tears were streaming down my face, and I thought, I've absolutely had enough. I'm going to do things my way. And I started with my drinking. I'd been self-medicating with alcohol for many years, and when I stopped drinking, all my buried trauma surfaced. Even though I understood my why, it still didn't stop me feeling depressed. A couple of years later, after yet more therapy, I was really, really tired of talking. And I wanted to continue the work that I was doing, but I wanted to continue it in a creative way. I'd had an idea in my head for a self-portrait shoot that just wouldn't go away, and I knew it wouldn't go away until I created it. I wanted to look myself in the eye. I wanted to face myself fully. I wanted to see if it was as bad as it felt. And if it wasn't, I would just park my mental health and my depression, stop looking for my answers, stop hoping that I'd ever find something that would help me, and I'd get on with my life as best I could. So I sat with my most difficult emotions, and I photographed what was there. I had no idea what I was going to see. When I looked back at those images, I didn't know how I was going to feel about them. But as I sat at my computer and I downloaded my images, I was really, really surprised at what I saw. I didn't see a woman that I hated or who I was ashamed of. I saw a woman in pain and agony, and the only person that could help her was me. Those vital inches between my brain and the computer screen allowed me just enough objectivity to give myself compassion for the first time in my life. It really was transformative. It changed what I said to myself, how I treated myself, everything. I was pulling all the fragmented parts of me home. It was the self-acceptance I so needed. I accepted all parts of me, the bits that I didn't like, especially the bits that I didn't like. I felt whole. One shoot had done more for me than 25 years in and out of talking therapy. It was extraordinary. So what was going on? In 2017, a neuroscientist called Thomas Rieber at the University of Bonn in Germany conducted some research. He found that when people saw images of faces that they either knew or would recognize, neurons were firing in their brain, even if they only saw them for a fraction of a second. Even if they weren't conscious that they'd seen them afterwards, something was going on in their brain. And I think this goes some way to explain what was happening to me. I looked at my images after my shoot, and then I didn't look at them again for 5 months. But in that time, I was feeling better and better and better. I couldn't unsee what I'd seen. Every day I'd wake up and think, oh, I wonder if today's the day I'm going to feel rubbish again. And I never did. I was using the photographs therapeutically. And I subsequently found out that therapeutic photography is a thing. Pioneered in the 1970s by the Canadian psychologist Judy Weiser. Therapeutic photography is the structured use of images for an intended outcome. And Judy says that the story of any image isn't in the image. It's entirely with the viewer and takes into account all of their life history right up until that point. So it doesn't really matter what the photographer intended. What's important is how we relate to what we're looking at, what resonates with us, and what that can tell us about who we are. The visceral response I was having to my images, I subsequently found out as well that I was using something called the felt sense. The felt sense is our holistic embodied response to any given situation. It's the meaning underneath the feeling, it's the not knowing, it's the stuff we don't yet have words for. It helps us bring what's in our subconscious into our conscious. It's a portal to our own truth and authenticity. The felt sense was first used by Carl Rogers, the humanist psychologist. In his 1951 work, Client-Centered Therapy, he spoke of an embodied felt sense and said it was one of the most significant phenomena in therapy. But it was one of his students, Eugene Gendlin, who made it his life's work to share. Eugene was a US philosopher and psychologist, and he noticed in his therapy room that some of his clients were tapping into something really deep inside them. And those that did and sat with that would journey through their therapy much quicker. Our truth is something that we need to feel. Our feelings are there for a reason. They're there to be felt. And as Eugene so beautifully put it, what is true is already so. And because it's true, it is what is there to be interacted with. So the felt sense can help us in many ways, like personal growth and development. It helps us smash through our limiting patterns, move away from societal norms, away from what we feel we should do, towards the truth of who we really are. It helps us with relationships when we're more in tune with ourselves, we're more in tune with the people that we're with. We can practice active listening, and we can be more present. It also helps with innovation, where logic ends, intuition begins, and there opens up this amazing space where new ideas can emerge and creativity can really come into its own. It also helps with decision making, which for me is one of the most fun parts of the felt sense. So if I've got a decision I need to make, and I don't know what the answer is, I'll drop into my body and see what's there, and often the answer will come straight away. It's almost like I don't need to make any decision at all. The felt sense can also help us with change, whether on a personal or collective basis. So it's our compulsion to take action. It's when not doing something isn't an option, when we join together in movements like the civil rights movement, or where we come together in peaceful demonstration against the world's injustices. I wonder if you use your intuition. And if you do you act on it? The felt sense to me feels a bit like magic, and the beauty is that it's inside all of us. It reminds me of a quote, an analogy that Simon McKibben, the UK trainer and coach, told me once. The felt sense is a bit like wearing a cloak that's covered in gorgeous gems, but you've lost the biggest one and you don't know where it is, and you're looking everywhere for it and you can't find it. And then suddenly you realize it's there in your pocket and it's been there all the time. We spend so much time in our heads, we often miss the wealth of information that's stored in our bodies. For me, the felt sense is one of the most gentle, compassionate, and effective ways to self-sustainability I've ever known. That's why it's my passion to help people, to introduce people to the felt sense through photography. So how do we bring this into our lives? Well, my felt sense feels a little bit like a mischievous friend, somebody that wants to come out and play and show me all the exciting things that I don't yet know. So it's almost like she taps me on the shoulder and she goes, "Psst." She's saying, pause, slow down and really stop. Sense within, notice what's there. And sit with whatever that is, without the need to make sense of it or to put words to it, but trust that the truth will come. So I invite you to park your likes and dislikes at the door, come out of your head, drop into your body, to pause, to sense within, to sit with what's there, and to trust the reflections that you're getting from this image. How does it make you feel? Where's that feeling in your body? And what is your body asking you to take notice of? If our experience of the world is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of us, then photography and the felt sense have a beautiful way of reflecting back to us who we are, what we need, and what might change as a result of this insight. So the next time you take a selfie or look at an image of yourself, I invite you to pause, to sense within, to sit with, and to trust the truth of what's being reflected back to you. How does that image make you feel? What does that person in that image want you to know? It might just change your future. Thank you.